I called my talk Being Faithful Witnesses, Serving God in a Changing World. Sisters and brothers, from the heart of Palestine, a land besieged and violated by Israeli military occupation, I join you today. From the midst of Palestine, a tortured nation held in captivity, I stand with you today. Both my life experience in Palestine and my ecumenical work in many corners of the world requires that I share with you the story of my people, a story of human hurt and hope. I represent a narrative of exclusion, the denial of basic human rights and community rights, but I have a message of hope, embodied in the spirit and will of all those who refuse to submit to forces of oppression, violence, injustice, structures of domination, colonialism, and foreign occupation. The situation in Palestine calls on all our resources, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And in the darkest nights of the soul, we seek your affirmation and actions, especially as governments and power systems have failed us because of their power politics, absence of will, and short-sighted self-interest. The current atmosphere in Jerusalem is highly charged, and the situation in the Holy Land is surely far more complex than that which we encounter in Luke's presentation of the first century. Even my identity as a Palestinian Christian is not easily explained to anyone living outside my immediate context. You see, I am a Christian and I am Palestinian. One part of my identity cannot be separated from the other. And as such, we Palestinian Christians are often referred to as the embroidery work of our people. That is, we are an interwoven and an integral part of the whole society. Although we are the modern heirs of the disciples of Jesus in Jerusalem, and despite our rich contribution to the Middle East, we have become unknown, unacknowledged, and forgotten by much of the world. We are a highly educated community with deep historical roots, a community that is unfortunately diminishing every day as a result of political and economic pressures. Our future is uncertain. The pressures are enormous. And as we are part and parcel of our society, not outside of it, it is a daily challenge to remain faithful, to witness to our faith in these, the most dire of circumstances, where today, as Palestinians, none of our rights are guaranteed. We stand with our Muslim sisters and brothers at the margins of life in Palestine, sharing a common reality of prolonged suffering and waiting and acting together in hope for a brighter future. 70 years ago, We were cast outside the course of history, our identity denied, and our very human, cultural, historical reality suppressed. We were victims of the cruel myth, a land without people, or a people without a land. And we continue to be victims of an exclusive agenda, an agenda that usurped our rights, our lands, and confiscated as well our historical narrative. Our country is becoming one gigantic prison and one vast cemetery. The people, land, houses, and trees have been brutally treated. Fear and insecurity have replaced compassion and trust. Relations have become hard and tense. When almost every aspect of life is framed in oppression and humiliation, the moral space is diminished. Our own humanity is threatened, and role models for our children become hard to find. People are tired and depressed. They are traumatized by the violence that is perpetuated against them, which affects both their physical and mental health. My people need time to mourn, to heal their wounds, to pacify their children, and to find their daily bread. Our oppression and the Israeli occupation could not have lasted so long without outside assistance. Proportionate to its population, the state of Israel is the recipient of more US aid than any foreign state in history. This aid, combined with political support from the US, enables Israel to tighten its grip of occupation and makes our lives more difficult, more unlivable. The truth has been twisted that anybody who dares to speak out for justice is now associated with terrorism or anti-Semitism, or according to the theology of some, against God as they understand God's purpose in the world. This is all done in the name of the so-called Christian Zionists, and as indigenous Palestinian Christians, we have no choice but to answer to that claim and to the many religious leaders who exploit the Bible to endorse the legitimacy, policies, and conduct of Israel. These Christians have established a linkage between biblical Israel and the modern nation state of Israel. Evils of discrimination, oppression, and dispossession are justified by reference to biblical text. David Ben-Gurion called the Bible the sacrosanct title deed to Palestine for the Jewish people. So it's not only politically they justify they use the Bible also to claim what is not theirs. As Palestinian Christians, we must liberate our theology from such an understanding. God for us is a God of justice and compassion, not a God of vengeance and exclusivity. As Palestinian Christians, we have long been forgotten, even unknown, and certainly unacknowledged. We have suffered, as have all the people from dispossession, displacement, and oppression. And we are then blamed for the history, politics, and the theology of others. Because we're Christians, and this is what Christians are saying from other countries. So we are taken responsible by our community, which raises